Well, it's raining out again. We're going to have a whole week of cloudy stuff, but I thought I would take a moment and show you what I have going on. This is the best spot here in my studio behind the ironing board is the best spot to have some plants. So I have got an amaryllis that has 2 blooms. Look at that. Look at that. Yes, look how gorgeous. Ah, so pretty. And then I've ordered a stand to go right here that's just got like a top and a bottom. This guy will probably still sit on the floor. He actually needs repotted badly, but I don't think they grow real fast, so I might just wait till the summer and do that. And then this guy I put down here. It's just I just set the pot it was in here because it was on this top shelf, and I don't think it will go in here. I like this stand, but it is kind of unstable, so I don't know what I'm going to put in it. I need something maybe different, a kind of plant that doesn't get too top heavy. Anyways, I just wanted to show you this. This brings me great joy to have plants, because when we did so much travel, there was no way for me to have indoor plants because we would be gone weeks at a time. So I am thrilled to be able to do this, even on a rainy day. Hi, my friend. It's Pat Sloan here for day 2 of Oh My Stars Table Runner, plus a few other things. So let's look at the other things first. I've been trying to show you something Christmassy every day here up until Christmas Day, or Christmas Eve, because I'm not doing a video Christmas Eve. I'm going to take off. So here is today's. Now, a few people wrote me because they saw this hanging on the ladder in my tour of my home with the quilt things. And so this is called a Mexican Rose. I will hold it up here. Ta-da! So this is one of my very favorite quilts. So it is appliqued with a blanket stitch. Let me just show you up close. There you go. So I have a little backstory on this one. I did a series with McCall's magazine for this is the backing. For quite a few years, I did a series, and what I did was go to an antiques dealer, Cindy Reynolds, and look at the quilts that were antiques, and then I would take a picture and be inspired by that and make a version of my own that uses components from the antique quilt. It wasn't a remake of the antique. It was my own quilt design, but using components I saw and loved in the antique. And so there was a Mexican Rose, which is a very traditional applique pattern. And so I did this piece based off of that, and it was done in 2010. So 2010 was when I did this for McCall's. So I don't know what issue. I didn't write it on the label. I just wrote 2010 in McCall's. Now, one year I was in Paducah just after this had come out, a little, maybe 6 months. And there hanging in the quilt show was a version of my quilt, and they gave me credit because they have to do that when you enter a show and you're going to possibly win money. And it actually did win an award for machine quilting. They used my design. They won for their machine quilting I think a top award, top prize. So that was kind of fun to see. So that's my backstory on that particular quilt, and it is one that I quilted myself. So I really like it. It's nice to have it still. It's one of the last ones that I won't own. It'd probably go to the end with me. That's one of the long-term keepers. Okay, what else do we have on our list? I'm going to skip this one, UFO goals. Why did I even put UFO goals for December? I'm taking a break from that. If I work on something, great, but I'm personally not making any UFO goals for December. So that is, I guess that's what it's there for me to make that announcement. And it's also Brownie Day, as in brownies that you eat. Brownies are a favorite of my family. I have one of these crazy pans that gives all sides, and I've had it for years. It was a gift from my dad's wife because we all like the edges of the brownies, and so that pan is fabulous. So if you are an edge person and you've wondered if the pan is worth it, it is. It's totally worth it. I have a link in the description box below if you have a need for one, because who doesn't need a pan with all edges? It's a great pan. We are, Norm, I got a note that Norm has been having a wonderful time. Norm, Nanette, and baby Bob have been having a wonderful time. And tomorrow I'm going to tell you about their adventures and who they have been visiting. And so that's very exciting. I'm very excited about that. But just so you know, they have been having a super good time and learning new things. You know, those gnomes, they like to learn new things. All right, our Oh My Stars, we're going to look at the fabric that I'm going to use. We're going to go to the other side of the table, and then we're going to go up on the design wall so I can lay it out. So let's go. It is decision day. Do I go with the charm pack that I just used, which is Cup of Cheer, and I did the little presents, or do I take the charm pack that I just rediscovered in the bin, which is the same fabric as this quilt? So let's look at my other fabrics I have with it, and I'll decide. Then I'm going to lay out the blocks. Okay, I went and grabbed some Basic Gray Grunge. That is the fabric line. It's a basic by Basic Gray, and I got one here that has a lot of nice texture on it, and then I actually had a piece with some dots on it. So I don't know, that might work. And we are doing the table runner again. So when I look at this line, which I just did I just used it. And this one has navy in it, aqua, lighter green, pink, red, light gray, and then the cream colors. And I think if I did this one, the stars would be in this. That would be fantastic for the stars. And then I would still need to do a light border, I think, because I don't have yardage of any of these fabrics. And so this would be a nice neutral to complete this one if I'm going to do these squares. But I'm leaning towards the other ones because I just sewed with those, and I do love this line. And I'm thinking I just did a lot of stuff with pink. I do, if you saw my living room, all the quilts are very light, but I thought it might be fun to do one that is darker. And so if I use these, the line has darker greens. It has some of these great big florals in it. Then some more medium greens, reds, lots of reds. Then it goes into gray. It has a medium gray, so it's a lighter gray than that other line. And then the lights. Here's some more gray back here. So what I'm thinking is to do this one, and what would the stars be? Because, it has to be a solid, some sort of solid. And I don't really, there might be a dark green in there, but I'm thinking white. Let me get this grunge again. I'm thinking, this is actually Basic Gray's line, Hustle Bustle. That's the designers, is Basic Gray. So if I did these with white stars, or I could do polka dot stars, that means the border can't be this fabric. Like the other option here, the stars would be red, the border could be the white. So here, if I do white stars, the border has to be something else. So in comes this collection I have here from the line. I could do, if I wanted to keep it light on the outside, I have enough of these berries. And so if I put the white stars would show up on the berries fine, when it, because it goes into the border. So one set of star points is on the border fabric, or two sets on that corner. I don't think I would do the big floral out here, just because, I don't know. I could, but, and pretty much if I'm using this white, everything is going to show up. But I like the berry there. I also have red. I have enough of this red, which is, of course, red, everything red. Red would be awesome. So the berries would show up. These would be the other squares. And so I'm leaning towards the berry just to make it really pop. Everything would be really pop. These will all, and it's also, this is more tonal. And so it's not all the blocks that are against this. Here, any block that's against this, next to it, on the layout, where, they all work pretty good, but still. I'm leaning towards the red. Now, I'm not going to use either of these people ones for the border. They're directional. This is all I have of it. And I just think that that would just be a lot of work I don't feel like doing to get all the directional fabric how I want it. So they were not an option. And then this will probably be the backing, since I have enough of that for backing. So that is the direction. I can change my mind on the border. So those are two border options. I can change my mind. So I have all of these. So now I have to figure out which ones I want, and I need 21 pieces. So let's take a look at that. So the first thing you do is on your design wall, pin your pattern up there. There are 8 across. I put the white and then it alternated red and green. Now I did have to cut 2 of these from that border because I didn't have enough red to use, which is fine. There's enough of that if I decide to use it for the border. But the problem is if I use it for the border, I don't want it in that corner position. I would need to, if I'm using the red, I would need to switch it because I don't want it to bleed into the border. Well, that one needs trimmed. It wasn't actually, that was left over from the layer cake. I had a few of those where I just put the leftover pieces from the layer cake from making the bigger quilt in with the charm pack, and so I just need to trim that one down. Here's one I had to do also. So I like the red and green. I like keeping that super classic. Let me just put some star points on there so you can get the effect. There is the red border and 1 star. Oh, that really pops. That's super, super nice. Now, if I were going to change out some of these for the light fabrics, you just have to be kind of mindful of where you put them. So like if I put a light fabric near the star, you have to be mindful of the color of your star. And that light, some of these lights aren't too bad. You know, I could sprinkle them around and make a decision like to have a few lights in there. If I wanted to sort of brighten it up a bit, maybe one up there. Let's see. So that's putting a couple of lights. Whoops. There we go. There we go. So that would be putting a couple lights. You know, I would maybe work on the arrangement a bit. But I'm kind of liking just the classic red green for this guy. And since I have just enough, I do have a few that, here, that one too, get these off. So I do have a couple red, green, well they're green, no not reds. I have 3 greens that I didn't use from that charm pack that's left. So that's good. What I did is take the design board and take 3 parts of the star, because the 4th part is in the border and I haven't cut those fabrics yet, so I'll cut them afterwards. But most of my fabric is not directional, but in this particular line there are several pieces that are directional that have the star points, and this is one of them. So I wanted to be sure that I don't rotate it so it's sideways or something kooky like that. So I put it on the design board, pinned the squares to the side that they have to go on, and then I just laid the ones over here because if I accidentally rotate them, that's okay. So basically these are sew and flips, but they are a little oversized, which means that you are more than a 1/4 inch to the point. From the edge to the point of the star, there's more than a 1/4 inch, so that the star floats and is not like you know, normal star construction, you know, traditional star construction, let me say. So I'm going to go ahead and just do the star point and do one of them and show you how it looks. I am using the guide beam function on my Babylock Solaris Vision. Many of the machines from Babylock have the guide beam, and mine is a double guide beam on this machine. I'm only using the one on the left, and basically I'm, you know, sewing that line to do the first sew and flip all the way down to the corner. So the guide beam goes all the way down, and there we go. And I will cut the thread, and this one now is ready to press. So I will go over to the iron, press it open, and then we'll put the other side on. Here it is, sewn and pressed, and I trimmed away the back side. So here it was when I sewed it, pressed it over, and trimmed these away. And now the second one will go right on top, and I will be sewing from this side to that side to create the second star point. And I'm going to scoot you in a bit. All right, for this star point, same deal. And this is the same sew and flip that you do for every single sew and flip function you ever have done. There's nothing special or different. What's different is that I'm making the seam allowance so that it looks different than on traditional start blocks. Okay, let me go press this one. Here is the start point. The second one is put on there. See, and I trimmed it away already, so I have all those trimmed away. Now, what is different is that the point here is wider. You know, this is a bigger area than on traditional blocks. So if I have my ruler and I want to do, let me hold it where I can see it. So if I want to do like the 1/4 inch, you can see then it floats. The 1/4 inch does not come to that point. The point is bigger, you know, it's further away from the edge. And that lets your star sort of float so that you're not trying to match that point up. You just sew your block on here and everything is good. Let me just hold a block on there for a second. When I sew the next part onto, like this is the center of the star, you can see here, it doesn't match up. This is not supposed to match up. It's a floating star, which makes it super fun, super easy. Yes, so now you're just going to sew up the center of your quilt, just like that. Snap, it'll be done. This is going to be fun. I think a lot of you are going to jump in on this and make a table runner because it really is quite quick. You can just use fabric that you've had, look around in your charm packs, look around in your fabric stash, and so I think you can get this together pretty quick. So I've got mine ready to sew. I'm going to be sewing this center part. On Saturday, we'll talk about this runner again. Tomorrow, be sure you come back tomorrow because tomorrow we get to hear about Norm Nanette and Baby Bob. Plus, it is my day on the socialites, so that is super fun. Yeah, so both of those things. It's going to be a really fun packed day tomorrow. Okay, get ready for your Oh My Stars and show your progress. So I love you. Mwah. Thank you for being here in the Sloan Zone. I will see you online.